Alright, today we're going to discuss findings from ChatGPT's backend, where direct references to model names like GPT 5.1, GPT 5.1 Pro, GPT 5.1, reasoning, and others were discovered in JavaScript code served from OpenAI's CDN. These names weren't in external discussions, but within endpoints and maps in the site's code. When named references and variants appear there, it typically means they're being tested internally or are close to public release. This appearance in the actual code is what triggered this reaction, and we're not talking about speculation or support, but actual strings and values found in real code bundles. These strings also include a date pointing to November 24th, as confirmed by Mark Kreshman. This date might be internal, but the fact that it's coded there does link the model name, and has led many to assume it's happening soon. What makes this finding even more interesting is the term thinking, as the name GPT 151 5.1 thinking appeared alongside other variants. This term suggests that this potential model wouldn't just focus on faster generation, but on applying more multi-step reasoning to break down problems and execute something closer to deliberate planning. It's been suggested this thinking feature could incorporate reasoning budgets, allocating more compute time to difficult problems, just as humans pause longer before answering complex questions. It's also been suggested that there would be improvements in handling ambiguous contexts as a form of evolution, as we've seen models with enhanced chains of thought, but all of this is clearly speculation. Alongside these internal references, another element has raised even more suspicion: the anonymous model called Polaris Alpha, which has started appearing on OpenRouter. Many people began testing it because it seemed to outperform GPT-4 class models. And then it was noticed that this anonymous model only appeared there, similar to previous OpenAI variants that first emerged disguised on that same platform. Additionally, Polaris Alpha demonstrates creative and reasoning capabilities that cluster very closely with GPT-5 and GPT-5 Mini in benchmark analyses of writing tasks and other metrics. Another indicator was its speed and usage limitation. The extremely high limits Polaris Alpha has on OpenRouter don't typically align with small research releases. The visual style it produces for UI generation also resembles the aesthetic that has become common in recent OpenAI models. Another piece of context is that during this same period, codex efficiency improvements were announced and usage limits were increased for Plus, Business, Education, and Enterprise, noting enhanced GPU performance. This was interpreted as possibly freeing up resources for other internal use, fitting the hypothesis that another model line was ready for test deployment. Additionally, that GPT 5.1 Pro reasoning-based chain in the code resembles the structure that existed with GPT-4, which had turbo and variants with different capabilities targeted at specific tasks. Another detail was when prompts were executed and responses showed the model identifying itself as a large model from an unknown provider, while mentioning a string matching the typical knowledge cutoff date of a recent internal OpenAI model. So, if we connect the exact references in the official code, the appearance of Pro and reasoning variant names, the late November date embedded in the site, Polaris Alpha's benchmark behavior, the generation style matching recent models from the same line, and its exclusive presence on OpenRouter, as happened before, everything suggests GPT-5. One is being tested and some users are already using it unknowingly. Therefore, what we're seeing indicates GPT-5. One isn't baseless speculation. The names are in the code, variations are listed, behaviors appear in real tests, and the pattern matches previous deployments. So anyway, let me know what you think, and if you're interested in the GPT-5. One launch which is just around the corner along with Gemini 3. Let's see what happens.